Oh, Next.js Conf is starting. Let me message the Next.js community on Discord to let them know that I'm going to need a little bit more time. See, we have a lot of big announcements planned for today. But before I get started, let me tell you a bit about how Next.js is helping everybody build a better web. Back when the web got started, it consisted mostly of simple documents that could, however, be transmitted and rendered very efficiently. The web was mostly static and plain, but that didn't last very long. As time went by, the web became a lot more dynamic and interactive and animated and user-personalized, thanks to the power of JavaScript and the introduction of new CSS capabilities. Companies like Facebook created groundbreaking new web experiences on this web to power products like chat and newsfeed. Lines of code started flowing from the backend and into the frontend, where JavaScript, with primitives like functions and classes, it just wasn't quite ready to harness and control these emerging needs of front-end engineers and product designers. The React component was then invented and open sourced by Facebook. It became the building block to organize and build this new kind of web experience. Almost exactly 4 years ago today, Next.js was introduced on the cusp of the React revolution. See, React was invented to build components, but at the time, we wanted to build full pages. We didn't want to mess around with libraries and bundlers and configuration. We wanted an entire solution. We wanted a framework, and we wanted a platform. And we thought that that was a very big gap that needed filling. Our focus was then to create the best way to develop, preview, and ship pages to the open web. Next.js pages are unlike any other because they give you, the developer, complete control over the entire front-end experience. It's never been a better time to be a front-end developer. As the API economy matures, you as a Next.js engineer have a tremendous advantage. You get to pick and build on top of any backend, whether it's been pre-built or whether it's been built by your own teams. Either way, you get to prioritize what's truly important for your business: great performance, rapid feature development, and ultimately, the ability to ship rich and delightful user experiences. Next.js was the first React framework to focus on server rendering, prioritizing search engine placement and user experience, mostly by putting computation that was expensive and putting it in the cloud instead of on your device, slowing it down and draining your battery. Over time, Next.js only became more powerful. With features like AMP pages, we doubled down on search engine optimization and mobile readiness. For larger teams, TypeScript support was a game changer. With TypeScript, you get to move fast, but you don't introduce new bugs as frequently. Finally, as of Next.js 9, we became the first truly hybrid framework with capabilities like static site generation and serverless functions. We entirely eliminated the dichotomy between static and dynamic, giving you both all in one package for you as a developer to choose on a page-per-page basis. With the React component as this amazing unit of collaboration, combined with the ability for Next.js to straddle from one page to 1 billion pages, we enabled companies like Apple, TikTok, Twitch, Lyft, Hulu, and Target to reinvent their entire front-end experiences. What's more, for companies like HashiCorp, the Washington Post, Airbnb, and TripAdvisor, by deploying their front-ends to Vercel, not only did they ship fast, but they became faster at collaborating, iterating, reusing, and ultimately they were able to stay fast over time, especially as our world around us changes and new unforeseen challenges emerge. Above everything else, with these great companies and with the partnership of Google and Facebook and you are contributors with more than 1,300 unique contributions to our open source project, we built the most exciting and amazing Next.js release to date. Next.js 10 is available today, and you can upgrade with just one command. As it's always been our commitment to you, our developers, we've made it completely backwards compatible. The first highlight of today's release is about one of the most important primitives of the web, the image. The image element was introduced back in 1995, but has seen very little evolution since. However, on average, images will make up 50% of the average web page size. When left unoptimized, images will hurt your site's performance, and consequently, your user experience and your conversion. Next.js 10 solves this. Tim will now show you how easy we've made it for Next.js developers.
Thanks, Guillermo. Our main goal with Next.js is to improve two things: developer experience and user experience. By removing the image optimization burden from developers, user experience will greatly improve. The Google Chrome team and our community helped make this one of the biggest optimizations we've ever released. This year, we've already invested in both developer experience and performance for all Next.js applications. By focusing on decreasing the amount of JavaScript the browser has to load. We introduced over 20 new features, yet the JavaScript size of the Next.js core was reduced by 16%. And the Google Chrome team helped us introduce a new JavaScript code splitting strategy, which let companies see major improvements without any code changes to their Next.js application. For example, Barnaby's had a 23% decrease in overall application size, and some have had a 70% decrease in the largest JavaScript bundle size. All they had to do was upgrade Next.js in order to leverage these optimizations, and we're committed to keep making these types of enhancement effortless for developers. While our focus on improving JavaScript size has paid off, the web is not all JavaScript. It's also markup and images. Images alone take up 50% of the total web page size. Images impact largest contentful paint, since they're often the largest visible element when a page loads. Joe will go in depth on this web file in a few minutes. And half of all images are over 1 megabyte in size, which usually means they aren't optimized. Today, users browse the web using phones, tablets, and laptops, yet images are still approached as a one-size-fits-all. It's a problem when sites load a 2000 by 2000 pixel image, but my phone is only displaying it in 100 by 100. And 30% of images are outside of the initial viewport, meaning I'm loading images that I can't even see. They could have been lazy loaded as I scroll. And the images often don't have a width and height set, causing them to jump around when they are loaded. This hurts cumulative layout shift, another web file Joe will cover later. Finally, 99.7% of websites don't use modern image formats like WebP. So images are hard. Size, weight, lazy loading, and formats all have to be considered in order to build performant web pages. As developers, we've had to set up complicated build tools to optimize images, but those tools usually don't even cover user-submitted images coming from a CMS, making it nearly impossible to optimize all images. This impossible development task inevitably leads to frustrating user experience. That's why I'm excited to announce the first two features in Next.js 10, the Next.js image component and automatic image optimization. So let's start by taking a look at the Next.js image component. At its most basic, the Next.js image component is just a drop-in replacement for the HTML image element, but evolved for the modern web. The Google Chrome team helped us create this React component to improve page performance by making best practices the default. When using the Next.js image component, images are automatically lazy loaded, meaning they're only rendered when the user is close to seeing the image. And by enforcing image dimensions, browsers immediately render the space needed for the image instead of having it jump in when loaded. This prevents layout shifts. And developers can mark images that are in the initial viewport. Next.js will automatically preload them, improving largest contentful paint by up to 50%. That's fast. Even with all of these improvements, there's still a major problem. We're still serving that 2000 by 2000 pixel image to my phone. Today we're also solving that problem. The Next.js image component will automatically generate the right sizes through built-in image optimization. Not only does it serve users for smaller images while preserving quality, it serves the images in modern formats, like WebP, which is about 30% smaller than JPEG. Built-in image optimization also allows Next.js to adopt future image formats and serve them to browsers that support those formats. It works with any image source, meaning that even if images come from an external data source, like a CMS, they're optimized. And instead of optimizing images at build time, Next.js 10 optimizes images on demand, as users request them. This means that unlike with static site generators and static-only solutions, your build times aren't increased, whether shipping 10 images or 10 million images. Next.js 10 has made this impossible development task easy, and your users will inevitably benefit. The new Next.js image component and automatic image optimization are powerful new primitives that massively improve user experience. The Next.js image component handles automatic lazy loading, preloading of images, correct sizing across devices, and automatically supports modern image formats. These features work with images from any data source. I'm looking forward to seeing how much faster your user experience becomes with these new primitives. Our team of contributors believes that if enough developers adopt the Next.js image component, the web as a whole will become a better and faster place. Later today, Alex Castle from the Google Chrome team will talk about the technical challenges that the Next.js image component solves, so be sure to check that out. Now that we've seen how Next.js 10 makes image optimization easy, let me show you another feature that shows how great developer experience creates a great user experience. This year, several businesses and community members helped me understand how important internationalization is. For example, I learned that 72% of consumers are more likely to stay on your site if it's been translated. And 55% of consumers said they would only buy from e-commerce sites in their native language. So if you plan to go to market in a different country, internationalizing your project is critical for success. Internationalizing a project has two main pillars, translations and routing. Many React libraries prepare applications to be translated, but most of them expect you to handle routing manually, and generally only work with one rendering strategy. That's why as part of Next.js 10, we're releasing built-in support for internationalized routing and language detection. And we're giving you a hybrid strategy, so you can choose between static generation or server-side rendering on a page-by-page basis. This release supports the two most common routing strategies, sub-auth routing and domain routing. For both strategies, start by configuring the locales in the Next.js configuration. A locale is a standardized identifier, generally made up of a language and a region, separated by a dash. For example, this refers to the Dutch language and the Netherlands as a region, and I can also add this, which refers to the Dutch language and Belgium as a region. Once your locales are configured, you can choose between sub-auth routing or domain routing. Sub-auth routing puts the locale in the URL. For example, I can insert the locale in the URL like this or this, allowing all language translations on the same domain. On the other hand, domain routing enables you to map a locale to the top-level domain, like this and this, giving users an extra local feeling. These language strategies automatically integrate with Next.js's hybrid static and dynamic rendering. In addition to the routing strategies, Next.js 10 has built-in language detection based on the accept language header, which is supported by all modern browsers. Because Next.js pre-renders the page markup through static generation or server-side rendering, it will immediately serve the content to search engines. This helps with search engine optimization. Next.js also avoids content duplication by automatically adding the language attribute on the HTML tag. If your site needs to be global, the internationalized routing and automatic language detection in Next.js 10 provides you with everything you need to get started today. Guillermo, tell us what's up next.
That was great, Tim. With Next.js 10 so easily optimizing your images, whether static or sourced from a dynamic CMS or API, you'll be seriously improving your site's performance. With internationalization support, you'll be reaching more audiences in more markets. And with that, more users, more networks, and more devices. And frankly, more challenges to performance. With that in mind, we decided to solve the ultimate challenge, staying fast over time. Here's Joe to show you how Next.js 10 incorporates performance monitoring as a key part of your workflow.
Thanks, Guillermo. You're right. We've been measuring performance in the wrong ways or at the wrong time. Today, with Next.js 10, we're fixing that for all Next.js applications out of the box. Developers all around the world choose Next.js for its incredible performance. Why? Because to your visitors, performance is absolutely critical. More than 50% of your visitors will abandon your page load if it takes more than 3 seconds to complete. And for e-commerce, improving the speed of your page load by just 1/10 of a second can yield 1% increase in conversion. At Vercel, we're obsessed with performance. This is why Next.js makes best-of-breed performance optimizations like critical CSS extraction and differential loading for modern browsers by default with no configuration required by the developer. And to sustain the level of performance your visitors expect from your application, automated conformance testing becomes a key part of your developer workflow. Today, as part of Next.js 10, we're proud to release Next.js Analytics, the solution for tracking performance metrics and making them a key part of your developer workflow. This means instead of measuring once, we'll be measuring continuously. Instead of measuring from just our development device, it'll be from the actual devices of our visitors. And instead of from only our country, it'll be from the actual regions that our visitors are in. Conformance is about understanding the entire picture, deeply understanding our audience and how our application performs for them. As developers, we're normally focused on performance when first implementing or rebuilding an application. But once we ship, it's easy to lose focus on performance. This is why continuous and automated conformance testing is so critical. Google, in conjunction with the Web Performance Working Group, have come up with the set of performance metrics to track how users experience the performance of your website, aptly named Web Vitals. Web Vitals are the metrics that track the perceived loading speed, responsiveness, and visual stability of your website, all three essential for your website's overall health. Perceived loading speed can be measured by largest contentful paint, or the amount of time it takes for the page's main elements to be displayed on screen. For example, when I go to purchase a pair of sneakers, the amount of time that elapses from me clicking on the link to seeing the sneakers, their price, and the Add to Cart button is largest contentful paint, or LCP. Page responsiveness can be measured by first input delay, or the amount of time that elapses between me clicking on the page and seeing the reaction of that input. For example, when I click Add to Cart, the amount of time it takes for my cart count to update is first input delay, or FID. And finally, visual stability can be measured by cumulative layout shift, or the measurement of how often elements move after being displayed to the user. For example, we've all had the frustration of trying to tap on a button just to have it move because an image loaded late on the page. That's layout shift. The continuous measurement of Web Vitals from your real users is crucial. It's the only way to know how your website is performing for your users. This is because the performance of your website can vary dramatically from user to user, or device to device, and network to network. An emulated test cannot capture these differences. That's why we had to create Next.js Analytics, because at the end of the day, it's your users who are scoring your performance. Every time you deploy, you'll automatically receive actionable performance scoring. Instead of relying on a one-off lighthouse score that you calculate, start relying on a real-time score that your users calculate directly from their Web Vitals. In addition to an overall score, we give you all the tools necessary to further dissect and improve your performance by Next.js page, connection speed, device, region, and so much more. Now, as developers, we'll never forget our focus on performance. Today, take the first step towards developing side by side with your users. Visit nextjs.org/analytics to learn how to enable it in your application right now. Back to you, Guillermo.
Thank you, Joe. That was great. With Next.js 10 making it so easy to optimize your images, internationalize your website, and ensuring you're fast every step of the way with Next.js Analytics, we still wanted to give you one more thing. Today, many of the most successful Next.js applications are in the e-commerce space. Thousands of new e-commerce initiatives are spun up every week. Up next, Belle will give you our all-in-one starter kit for high-performance e-commerce sites.
Thank you, Guillermo. The pandemic not only pushed us away from our friends and family, but it also put traditional brick-and-mortar businesses under extreme pressure. Before the pandemic began, we bought 16% of our things online. Now we buy nearly 34%. COVID pushed 10 years of e-commerce growth into 3 months. We expect huge innovation from store digitalizing. They have to make up for the loss of physical experience by moving things online. We already learned from Joe that a tenth of a second delay can drop conversions by 1%. When shoppers cannot touch, they demand performance. Next.js 10 solves the problems of modern e-commerce sites, delivering performance while reducing developer work and enabling greater collaboration across product, marketing, and engineering teams. The new Next.js 10 features are powerful new tools for e-commerce. With the new Next.js image component, your product images are individually optimized for your shoppers. If your site needs to be global, the internationalized routing and automatic language detection provides everything you need to get started. And with Next.js Analytics, you can shape your application based on real user data instead of basing your decisions on hunches of the loudest talkers in meetings. But some traditional practices might still hold e-commerce sites back. For example, traditional e-commerce monoliths used to be the only option for businesses. But with their complex and inflexible structure, they create a single point of failure. Rapidly changing markets demand a transition to headless e-commerce. Headless e-commerce decouples the front-end from the back-end, empowering teams to focus on product and front-end while letting other services handle the business logic and e-commerce engine. That's why today, in collaboration with BigCommerce, we released Next.js Commerce, the all-in-one starter kit for high-performance e-commerce sites. With a few clicks, Next.js developers can clone, deploy, and fully customize it. Start right now at nextjs.org/commerce. We've studied the best patterns across the web to make Next.js Commerce the best option for creating an e-commerce site. We're very grateful for the insights of our customers and partners. Developers now have all the source code of a best-in-class e-commerce store, fully customizable and yet incredibly easy to ship. By removing the constraints of typical e-commerce platforms, you're free to market your product in the best way for your company. Now, let me walk you through the out-of-the-box features. We take performance really seriously. We've added all the best practices to get the highest Lighthouse score. Every page has the right SEO configuration. This gives you a competitive advantage by making your application indexable, searchable, and rankable. As we mentioned, all internationalized routing and automatic language detection is handled by Next.js. Comps enable by default, work on one application, and become global in seconds. Next.js Commerce is ready for all devices and specifically optimized for the mobile user experience. We follow Google's UX playbook for retail. We've standardized the building blocks for commerce. These components allow you to build any view, basic or advanced, for your store. Themes are easily customizable. For styling, we pick Tailwind CSS as an utility-first framework for rapid customization of UI components. We've also standardized the data layer for e-commerce. Models like cart, wishlist, and catalog get their own hooks and utilities. We shipped with all the right data fetching hooks. Thanks to Next.js Preview mode, you can preview your product pages and share the modification across teams. Get a fast and reliable live editing experience thanks to Fast Refresh. Just run Next.dev in your terminal. Ready for any hosting platform and integrate easily with any backend. Right now, you can deploy with one click to Vercel and integrate seamlessly with BigCommerce. And all the features you already know and love, like incremental starter generation, link prefetching, and so on. E-commerce is one of the most important uses of the web. We are proud of this example and all the advancements it shows for e-commerce. And we know that the Next.js community will contribute, and together we can raise the bar for e-commerce sites. Back to you, Guillermo.
Thanks, Belle. That was miraculous. I can't wait to see the kinds of great e-commerce sites that people launch with your starter. 2020 has been a very unique year. For those of us in tech, it's been empowering to be enabling the kind of rapid digitalization that the world needs right now. However, contrasting that, and in view of the pandemic, injustice, division, and even the wildfires here on the West Coast in Australia, we are determined to give back. Stay tuned to our Discord for an exclusive Next.js swag drop, the proceeds of which will go entirely to these causes. Or check out next.js.org/give for more information. With Next.js 10, we're introducing incredible new features like image optimization, internationalization, and analytics. We combined all of them into Next.js Commerce, our all-in-one starter kit for e-commerce sites that you can clone and deploy in seconds. Next.js Conf is just getting started. With our community, our partners, and our sponsors, we've put together incredible content that's coming up next. And tomorrow, with the Next.js Career Fair, we're creating incredible new opportunities for employers and job seekers alike. We hope Next.js Conf is a turning point in your projects, your companies, and your careers. Let's go build a better web together.